Hey everyone, welcome to the Be Bold, Make Waves podcast, a show bringing you inspiring stories of women who are growing and scaling their business. I'm your host, Laura Comark, a website and tech integration specialist who works with online business owners who love their work and not their website. Join me as we have incredible conversations about business, mindset, productivity, and of course, the website and tech behind the business. Let's go ahead and dive in to this week's episode. Welcome to this week's show. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Laura Comark. I'm a website and tech integration specialist who works with coaches and consultants who love their work, but not their website. I am so excited to introduce you to my guest today, Jen Dice. Jen is a human design and aligned business mentor and marketing strategist, serving female online entrepreneurs. She's a certified Moonologer based on the expert methodology of Yasmin Boland. She's also certified in the vision integration method based on the expert teaching and methodology of Rebeca Lima. Her background in marketing combined with training in human design, vision integration, and Moonology has allowed Jen to create unique strategies for her clients to create more freedom in their lives and business. Don't we all want that? Mm-hmm. As an online entrepreneur, she's helped her clients to create aligned marketing strategies and systems through the lens of human design. Her signature course, Marketing in HD, guides entrepreneurs through learning their human design and leveraging your unique design in different areas of marketing and business. She helps women in business take steps towards manifesting their dream business and life. Jen, welcome to the show today. I am so excited for you to be here. Can you share a little more with our listeners about you and what you do and how you bring just human design into all of this?
Yes. So thank you, first of all, Laura, for having me today. I'm very excited to be here. For me, I got started online in the Pinterest marketing world. I got started in the VA space. It was more initially to just kind of create that freedom and be able to be more present for my kids and my family. And so I kind of started in the organic marketing space, Pinterest marketing, and then shifted into human design. Basically just because this being able to fill this gap in not just creating marketing strategies out of the box, but also kind of blending the two pieces together so that entrepreneurs and especially women in business were able to take these, programs and systems and checklists and step-by-steps and to-do lists of things that we usually find in programs and courses and with coaching programs and everything, and be able to actually create something that is custom and unique for us based on our unique design. And so that therefore, we're able to kind of create something that, a system that's unique to us, that's unlike anything else out there, that we do it in our own way. And so that gives us the permission and the empowerment to just take steps forward in our marketing and the offers that we create and the way we launch and the way we show up on social media, in just a way that works for us and feels good to us. And that for me is something that I've loved doing with the clients that I work with, and just helping them have those aha moments about what truly makes them an amazing human, their superpowers, and then how they can leverage what makes them unique based on their human design and leverage that in their business so that they can kind of go forward with that joy and that peace and that freedom.
Oh, I love that so much, because the thing that I feel as an entrepreneur, and I hear it so much, is the marketing is one of the hardest things, and how to market in a way that feels good and feels authentic. Because I know I found that when I join programs and someone is teaching you, a coach or a course creator, they're teaching you their way and how it worked for them and what was comfortable with them. And maybe that's, getting live on video, and not everyone's comfortable getting live on video. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's emailing your list all the time, and maybe you don't really feel comfortable in your writing skills. And so finding a way that's aligned with how you're made up, I just love that. I love that so much. When I first heard you talking about how you're combining human design and marketing for us business owners, I was like, I have to hear more. I have to have you on the
podcast. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit for people who are listening who maybe aren't familiar with human design? Can you talk to us, touch briefly on like what is human design?
So human design, it's a spiritual tool, but it brings together a blend of several different systems. So it's like a very holistic tool that you can use. And so it brings together pieces of astrology, pieces of the chakra system, pieces of the I Ching. And so it just really combines a lot of these different systems into one. And it's a way, so it kind of goes deeper into who you are as a person and how you're designed based on some of these other key pieces, like astrology being a big piece of that. And it kind of goes one step, like a couple steps deeper than some of the other, let's say, like personality tests out there, like the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs, which are great tests as well to kind of learn a little bit more about yourself. But human design, it takes into account like your birth date, your birth data, so the day that you're born, where you're born, and that gives you one unique set of like your that makes up a piece of your personality. So like your conscious side of your design, but then it also takes into account like different factors about 3 months prior to your birth data. And that imprint based on some of where like planetary alignments, some of the astrology pieces, that pulls together your design or your unconscious side of your design. So that's where many of us walk around. We understand these unique pieces of our personality on the front side of what we're consciously aware of, but the unconscious side of your design of your human design, that's actually something that's kind of like always operating, like that's innately talented or gifted inside of you, that's just operating kind of beneath the surface. And in many cases, when working with clients or your own chart, uncovering some of those unconscious pieces, that's actually kind of where you get some of those aha moments of, so that like where my clients have noticed that where things make a lot of sense to them. Like that makes so much sense. This is why XYZ, or I've always been really good at that. And then that almost allows you to kind of uncover more in depth as to like how you can then apply that to your business.
Oh, I love that. And so then what are the different types of human design traits? Is that the right
Yeah, different,
type?
like the different energy types. Yes. So there's 5 different human design types. You have generators, manifesting generators, and combined, both generators and manifesting generators make up about 66 to almost 70% of the population. So most people on the planet are either a generator or a manifesting generator. Then you have projectors, and I think they're about 20% of the population, depending on the source. And then you have manifestors, and they're around 9% of the population. And then you have reflectors, and they're the rarest type at about 1% of the population. So, and each energy type has your own unique like traits, abilities, and ways that you're kind of naturally inclined to approach the world and the environment around you.
Oh, I love that. And so what are you?
I'm a generator,
You're
a pure
generator.
generator. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a
Yeah.
manifesting generator.
Yeah. I would say I have run in, like, especially in the online entrepreneur space, a lot of generators, manifesting generators, for sure. I think I've talked to more manifesting generators from my clients. So, yes.
I would love to know what are some of the things, some of the traits about a manifesting generator that can help in their marketing?
Mm-hmm. So, from just the energy type, bigger picture, manifesting generators, you have the ability to kind of tap into that generator energy. So generators and manifesting generators have this like sacral, like life force energy. So we innately, with just between generators and manifesting generators, you have that ability to pour energy into work. So it's like some people will say like you're almost like an energizer bunny in some ways, but so you have that energy that's readily available to you. The difference though is with a manifesting generator, manifesting generators can also have like some tendencies or abilities to tap into the manifester energy type. And some of them, depending on the channels and the how things are connected in your chart, some manifesting generators have the ability to actually like really step into both the manifesting energy type and the generator energy type. So it's like the manifesting side is you're able to like get a lot of ideas and actually in some cases initiate on those, or you get those like impulses, ideas, ability like to like just initiate and start taking action. But also kind of cross-checking that too with that sacral side of you, that generator side of you, to make sure that you're pouring that energy into things that light you up. So you have that ability to, the ideas that come to you also like kind of inform, and like manifestors have their strategy is they're able the manifestors are able to pull in the right people to support them, because they're not meant to necessarily do the work per se, like somebody who's like myself, like a generator. So they're meant to come up with the ideas. They're meant to not ask permission. They're meant to just take action and initiate things, speak about it. And that creates more of that manifesting energy where the right people will step forward, support them, and then they can kind of delegate and pass that off and move on to the next thing. So the manifesting generator, you have some of those traits and some of those tendencies to be able to do that. And that's what would separate you from being just that pure generator, because you're in some cases able to tap into that manifesting side.
Oh, I love that. I find this all so fascinating. Where, to go back a little bit, because I got a little excited on that question.
Yeah.
Where can someone go find out what their human design trait is?
Yes. So I usually send people to, it's a free website, go to mybodygraph.com, and they can enter their birth data. So it's to get your chart as accurate as possible, knowing like your birth date and your birth time. So that's always super important. So if you don't know your birth time, I recommend like if you can go back to your birth certificate, go back to where you're born, your hospital records. So that's something that's important. I have other tips I can give if you just don't know your birth time. Enter your birth data, and then it will give you like your chart. You'll get on the left side of the screen this kind of a detailed graph that might overwhelm you a little bit if you've never seen a human design chart. And then on the right hand side, I usually have clients that are brand new to human design, like look at the chart, don't get overwhelmed at the graph, look at the right hand side, and it will tell you right in there like your type, your strategy, your authority. And usually getting started with human design, like that's where I would kind of focus, is like just get that summary and just start with one piece and then build on that.
Awesome. And I'll link that up down in the show notes. So who do you find, like, what are the sorts of people that you work with the most in your business?
I would say I have worked more with manifesting generators than any of the other types. My guess is that like it really leads well into especially the online entrepreneur space, which is where most of my clients are in the online space. They're either coaches, consultants, creators, creative entrepreneurs. And so they tend to be like that. Yeah. Manifesting generator. Generators is probably a second, and then projectors is the next. I've come across a couple of manifestors too. So, but I would say manifesting generators in the online entrepreneur space for sure.
Oh, I love that. So how did you get into human design? How were you introduced to it?
So I came across it for the first time in a coaching program that I was in. Probably the first time I was introduced to it was in I want to say like 2021. And it was just a part of this program I was in. And she had us go through different personality tests. So we took the Enneagram, we took the Myers-Briggs, and then human design was a piece of it. And it just intrigued me from the beginning. And so I learned a little bit about my chart. And then the more I was like diving into some of these personality tests to apply then to that program and what I was working on at that time, I started diving in more and more and more to my own chart. And for me, it just kept kind of building, where I started to dive into it, to dig into it a little bit more, to figure out, okay, how can I use this in the business that I'm building? At the time, I was building a service-based business, Pinterest marketing, on the verge of growing agency. So at the time, I was applying it to a different business. And actually, through that process, that's ultimately what helped me decide that, like, this direction with that business was not something that I wasn't meant for. It helped me kind of see the clarity in that, just based on how I was feeling with, and how things felt a little bit out of alignment for me, based on my design and based on what I desired to create and build in my business. So it was more like I started using it and applied it to my business, and then ultimately ended up pivoting, because at the time, it was, you're growing a service-based business, you get booked out, and then the options are, you can hire subcontractors and manage an agency, or you can go into group coaching. And I did like the idea of going the coaching and consulting route, but I still felt like I was in a box, only focusing on the Pinterest marketing side of it. So I'm like, how can I create this where I'm taking that experience from the clients that I've worked with in the organic marketing side of business, and take that into the coaching side, but also do it in a way that really, really feels good to me. And that's kind of how those two pieces started to come together, because I knew I wasn't built to grow a marketing agency per se. And I knew the coaching was the right route, but it was, how can I actually expand and build on something that really, really feels good to me? And so that's how that kind of all came to be.
Oh, I love that. Because I feel like that is such, we in the service business, we get booked out, and then we get to a point, and those are basically your options. It's either
Yes.
go the agency route or find a way to serve one to many, whether
Yes.
it's group coaching or digital products, creating courses. You have a course as well.
Yes.
You want to
Yes.
talk a little bit about your course?
I can. Yeah. So, marketing in HD was kind of born from, like, how do you actually blend human design with your business and with your marketing? And that was something that, it's like, there's a lot of resources on human design out there. There's a lot on YouTube. There's a lot on Google. You can find all of these pieces of information on what your human design type is and what authority is. And it's all well and good, but it's like, a lot of times you get to this point where it's like, well, that's really awesome. How do I apply it to this specific scenario? And the scenarios that you can apply human design to are endless. You can apply it to how you interact with your kids. You can apply it to any area in your life, in your money. And so for me, it was, how do I take this and apply this to my business? Or how do I take what I've done already and actually kind of work and create something that other business owners can kind of walk through and learn their human design, but then also take that knowledge and apply it to things like their branding, their daily marketing activities, the offers that they're creating, how they're showing up in their business, the content creation, their launches, all of those pieces. And so that's kind of how that came to be.
I love that. Because again, like going back to, if we're doing marketing and doing launches in a way that doesn't feel good to us, we don't do it.
Yes.
We sit there and we drag our feet and we put it off, and it stays on the to-do list. And if we can find ways to run our business in a way that feels good and in alignment, it makes it so much easier. So I feel like there's this sort of belief that a lot of us have that it has to be hard if it's work.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be hard. We can find a way to make it to work with ease. It's still work. There's still work involved, but work with ease that feels good to us. And then we can grow our businesses. And I know that's something I'm always striving to find ways to make it feel more in alignment.
Yeah. Because, contrary to what many of us have probably just always assumed, you have to work harder to make more. Or, if you're going to launch something, you're going to be drained at the end of a week. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's just, you don't have to show up and do things that, really don't feel right to you, because that's only going to, like, whatever energy that's pulling into you, you're going to put that out. That's going to be your output in that activity or whatever it is that you're doing. So it's like creating a way to almost energetically align and match with the marketing activities that you do, the business strategies that you create, and just like how you're running your business and your day to day.
I love that so much. Yeah, because it's hard. I mean, we're all doing this and we're trying to find ways to also like do the juggle of being moms.
Yeah.
And you have two kids as well, correct?
Yes, I have two girls.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We both have girls.
Yeah.
Forgotten about that. And like it's this juggle constantly of like our energy being pulled in different directions. And so
Mhm.
finding ways for, I mean, I know I love the work that I do and it fills my cup so much. And I love that. And I work with some really amazing clients and always
Yeah.
trying to work towards finding more clients that are feel good. I love having
Yes.
clients that are just, I can always brag on how amazing my clients are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a piece of it too, because, the clients you work with, how you show up and serve them. So like too often or too many times, I know I've taken advice of like, what do I do next? What do I create next? And I've taken just advice from, other peers or coaches and just gone out and implemented. And, what works for somebody else doesn't always work for you. The clients that are a fit for somebody else aren't always a fit for you. The containers, the offers that work for somebody else don't always work for you. So it's finding ways to make decisions around those things and kind of tweak and refine, and so that you end up with something that maybe didn't exist before, that maybe doesn't exist in the normal coaching consulting world, but you just kind of created it because of your experimenting and like over time and tweaking and changing and creating something that truly works for you, aligns with like your values and in your family, so that you can have that balance of both. Like it's not always going to be easy, but you have more of that balance of both.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Can we talk about tech a little bit? Just because I am a website tech person, I would love to hear a little
Yes.
bit about your experience with your website. Is it something, did you build it yourself? Did you hire it out? What was your first experience when you first started your business?
So tech, I actually like tech. It's something that I don't shy away from. So now my website, I built it myself on WordPress. And so now I've kind of shifted to moving a lot of the website, the email, and the funnels over to FG funnels. So that tech has been that's been a nice like almost all in one transition. So that's been very very nice. But part of that, I was very much a DIY, like setting things up on WordPress. I have experimented with like blogs, and I actually had a blog years and years ago that I grew and did SEO with and monetized for a little bit. And that was a homemade, I think I self-coded that years ago, like HTML stuff.
Yeah.
So I like tech. It's just not always going to be like what I do for clients, but yeah, that's a little bit of my tech story.
Where do you host your course? What platform?
My course is on FG funnels as well. So
Gotcha.
it's tied into the website that I have now. And then the blog will is still on WordPress. So
I love hearing everyone's tech stack. It's just something I totally geek out on. So I'm always curious like what everyone else is
yes.
using just to
Yeah. And I love to play. I've done different courses over the years. I play with different tools. So I don't mind. Like I love to kind of play with um like just I've done like lead pages, and I've had Dipsado for a piece of tech before, and just I've had other things that I played with, Teachable, Thinkific, and it's fun to kind of play with it. But I'm at that point too where it's like I just need everything where it's easy and it's simple to access and to use for me.
Yep. Simplify. Let's simplify
Hmm.
the back end of our business so the front end can be easier as well.
Hmm.
Big belief of mine for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say some of the fears and doubts you've had that really sort of stand out to you now when you're looking back on when you first started your business?
I would say I had limiting beliefs when I set out, and it never goes away, does it? Like it, when I started like my Pinterest business, it was very much, can I do this? Do I know enough? Who like can like getting like those first couple of clients, like there was a lot of mindset hurdles that you kind of go through. And even in in a pivot, I would say shifting your focus a little bit as I've done, I've noticed some of those same thoughts and patterns. That same pattern kind of comes back to resurface because it's not, I'm not new, but like what I'm shifting into is a new level or a new step. So that's kind of what I've noticed.
Absolutely. I can relate to that so much. I think we all can. What would you say that helps you get past those mindset hurdles when they kind of start to come up?
I have had the best like success just going back, just addressing them. I have a morning routine that is pretty rock solid, and that actually I am like firmly hold on to my morning routine because that sets me up for the day. And it's crazy. My kids have to get up crazy early right now, and so I have to get up earlier so I have that quiet time. So for me, it's been that morning of like doing some devotions when I get up in the morning. Journaling has been huge because, a lot of times I'll wake up in the morning and that's when I notice like the thoughts of like any doubts that if they're going to kind of sink into the day, they're present in the morning for me. So journaling that out, doing a little meditation and then movement, like exercise, that combination in the morning, it sets me up to just kind of dispel and I won't say eliminate, but at least just kind of like see the lies in the thoughts that are coming up and kind of reframe everything. And it also gives me the time and the space so that when my kids do get up, I'm not carrying all these thoughts with me so that I can be much more present for them. And then once they're off for their day, I can tackle like whatever was on my mind that day. So for sure, I think journaling, meditation, and movement, like that combination right there is powerful if you've got time to like do that or if you carve out time for that. So
I love that. Yeah, I do. I have sort of like a meditation movement combination that I do. I
yeah.
was feeling really bad for a long time where everyone's like, "Oh, you meditate in the morning." I'm like, "I don't have time." I get up and like first thing I do, I hit the ground and like feed the animals, take the dog out for a walk on the beach. And then finally someone was like, "Laura, you don't need to meditate. You're walking on the beach every morning.
Yes.
That is meditation." I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Check. I'm good."
Yes. Yes. And
And then I'm moving like
yes. And I would say first, I live in Michigan. So like it's like we head into a time of year where it's like you can't go outside, like unless you got snowshoes and you like being that cold in the morning. So like when you say beach and taking the dog out, I'm like, oh, that sounds so peaceful. I could do that every day.
And it's a nice little start to the morning. We've had
Mhm.
some little shifts in our morning schedule as school stuff has kind of
Yes.
changed up my normal routine, but we're adjusting. But yeah, that was something that I feel a difference if I don't get that morning walk and just that kind of quiet time with my dog on the beach, listening to the waves crashing. And that's kind of my little
Mhm.
routine. But yeah, I definitely feel a difference if I don't get that in the morning. So
Mhm.
it is important to really, I'm also a very routine person, I find.
Yes.
So I know like for me, like I take my shower every morning. That's like one of my, like to me, that's more important than my cup of coffee, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But my husband
Yeah.
like is very supportive and knows how important that shower is to me. And like I can't function during the day if I don't get it. It's
Yeah.
just like for me, it's like that's the routine that like kicks off my day also.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Same. Yep. Same. I'm somebody that too, even on weekends, like
mhm.
I can sleep in a little bit, but it's like, no, I can't just sit in my pajamas on the couch for like until noon. Like, so, like, I just can't, I need to get my day started and that like that shower that you mentioned, like, that's like my trigger of like, I need to get a
Yes,
shower. I need to get dressed and then I'll sit on the couch.
yes, yes, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I love that. What would you say that is something that you're really proud of that you've done in your business? I'm a big fan of celebrating and like celebrating our wins and like things we've done. So I would love to hear something and celebrate you on something you're really proud of that you've done.
I'm probably going to think of more things after this, but I would say, I think the biggest thing I am proud of in my business is taking the step and doing something different and pivoting. I think that's probably the biggest win because it's when you take those steps into completely because the service-based business, like the service-based business, the marketing clients, the done for you, like that's a, like, you can like plan, that's more solid. And stepping into a little something that's unknown, something that, is a little different from what everybody else is doing, was definitely scary to do. But I am beyond proud of the fact that I took that step. And from that, I've actually met and created relationships, new clients, and have been able to like just help them, the clients that I've worked with, make shifts in their own life. So like, even because of the pivot, even those smallest little like transformational aha moments that happen when I'm in a client call or meeting with them, like that light bulb moment for them is like, that's like the biggest thing that I'm thankful for of what I get to do. So that's probably what makes me the most proud.
I love that so much. I feel the same way. Like when I have clients that come back and tell me like the results they've gotten based on like the work we did together. And I'm just, it makes me just light up so much inside that I was a piece of that and I helped bring their big vision to life. And that just, it's a really awesome feeling. I love that. What would you say that you're doing that's kind of a little different in the industry, a way that you're making waves and being bold?
I would say that what I'm doing is not just human design. And what I'm doing is not just marketing and business strategy. It is a truly unique blend of the two in a way that just, haven't seen anybody else do. There's a lot of human design coaches out there. There's a lot of human design programs that teach you human design, but being able to take that with the experiences that I kind of come with the organic marketing side of things, and really being able to, like, from a strategy, because my brain is very strategic, like from that bigger picture strategy perspective, being able to see the different things that my clients are working on, and then just being able to pull those pieces of like magic from their chart and say, here's something we can like try and test out and see if that helps with whatever piece of their business that we're talking about. So, yeah.
I love how you've combined that so much, because I've been fascinated with human design for a few years, and I had a reading a number of years ago, and then I kind of took that information and was like, but now what? Like, I have this information, but I don't understand how to now apply it to the world and business and all the things. And so I have the information, but I think bridging that gap is just it's something you're not seeing, like you just said, like that's not really anything that someone else is doing. That was why when you started talking about it, and I first was introduced to you in the online space and following you on Instagram, and I was like, this is so different than what anyone else is talking about.
Yeah.
What would you say that your biggest, like your first steps for someone who wants to find out more about how they can use their human design and make that work with marketing? Is there any like tips that you give to maybe clients or people who are thinking of hiring you?
Yeah. So if you are speaking to somebody who's maybe brand new to it, maybe you just have had your chart pulled and you just know what your type is, so you just really don't know a whole lot beyond the surface, getting started with human design is, I usually recommend, like I said, don't get overwhelmed by the graph. You don't have to know what every single colored like energy center means, what every channel or gate means. It's kind of setting that aside and really, number one, getting your chart for free at the mybodygraph.com. So pull your chart, know your type, but really starting to dive into what does it mean to be a generator or a manifesting generator? And when you dive into that, you learn a little bit more about not just the type itself, but how that energy type or your energy type is uniquely designed to approach and interact the world around, like the environment. Like that's getting comfortable at that bigger picture level of what your strategy for like approaching life is. So each energy type has a specific strategy. And many times, a lot of times we experience burnout or get out of alignment because we go against that strategy. So really understanding that piece and what it means for your energy type, what feelings start to arise when you are making decisions that move you more into alignment, and creating more awareness about what it means when you are, for your feelings when you step out of alignment. So that bigger picture, I'm a manifesting generator. My strategy is to respond to the world around me. And then when I respond correctly, I experience like more of the sense and feeling of satisfaction when I'm in alignment. And when I'm out of alignment, I experience more of this sense of frustration with things. So that's kind of that bigger picture piece of, and those are pieces that are listed in your graph where it says generator, strategy to respond. That not self theme says frustration. So that's kind of like I'm out of alignment. And then your signature theme, that is like your feeling or what comes up for you when you're in alignment. So just understanding that first piece and starting to kind of look at what you're doing in your business and in like the world around you and where you might be experiencing more of that frustration. And then beyond that, it's taking that next step, which is kind of knowing your authority, which that's another layer deeper. So that might add a little bit too much if you're just getting started, but that awareness, that bigger piece of awareness, because when you take just that one piece and you then go and apply it to, okay, so I have this client that I'm working with, or this offer that I'm working on. And like you start to say, well, like this is where I've noticed more frustration in my business. And then getting curious on that and kind of asking yourself, okay, so if, this is where I'm noticing more of that frustration, is there something that kind of led up to that? Where did I, like, for example, did I say yes to agree to something? Did I commit to something that I said yes to something that maybe I should have said no to? So how did that come to be? And just getting curious about the circumstances around that frustration or the situation around that frustration. And then also looking at it through the lens of, in my business, where am I feeling really satisfied? Like this is if you're a generator, feeling that sense of satisfaction, feeling that sense of like super like excitement in my business. And that's that, like kind of shifting through that and creating that awareness is a really good first step before you dive into the energy centers and your authority and channels and because all of that comes through. But that very, very first piece is to just kind of go through those couple of lines in your chart and kind of create more awareness around that.
I love that. I really resonate with the word frustrated too, which I know shows up in my chart because that's a word that's been used and I've used often in my life, which makes sense. Like,
yes.
Because, and I mean, I even remember like my mom can tell stories about like when I was a small child, a toddler, and like and she'd say, oh, you would get so frustrated.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was something that came up when I was going through the chart. I was like, oh, like that's definitely something that's been a theme of when I'm out of alignment. I do. Frustration is definitely the word of what I feel.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And it's interesting too, like from the outsourcing piece, because I've tried to like outsource more things, like more so in like the home. So we have, some cleaners who will come and help out with the house things.
Yes.
And that feels really good to me.
Yes.
I do like a meal box, Home Chef is what I'm using now. And again, that feels good because it feels like I'm outsourcing some of the, I'm not having to do the grocery shopping and the meal planning and all that. I've outsourced that piece of it where I just select and it comes in. And so that feels really good to me. So I wonder if that's all kind of tied together.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, it's really taking a look, especially when you're talking like outsourcing, that's where it's like you're taking a look at like what does not light you up as that generator piece. That sacral center is kind of that next level of your chart. Like that's where you can direct your energy of like what truly lights me up, what doesn't light me up. So then when you look at what excites me or what doesn't excite me about your business, the groceries, you're like, because I feel that too, your laundry, so when you outsource those things, it's like you're taking things that don't light you up off your shoulders. And then you're able to take that energy and channel it into like the things that you truly are excited to put that energy into in life. Business doesn't have to be business, but other activities, other things. So.
Oh, I love that. Okay, then I'm going to ask you, what is lighting you up right now in your life or business?
I would say for me, what's lighting me up is just the I think the freedom to create in my business in a way that works for me. So for me, the things that light me up are working the clients that I get to work with in those aha moments. So creating a structure in my business where I have that. So I have those outlets where I can work with the clients, but maybe for me, it's not necessarily all week long back-to-back calls because I need creation time. I love to create. I'm one of those crazy people who I love to like create a reel. I love to write. I love to create. And so that for me has to be a portion of my business. So yes, the client work and the aha moments and the support and actually shifting and changing their lives, but then also pouring that energy into like, let's say a piece of content that's going to go out and maybe catch somebody's attention and like bring them closer to me so that I can also like work with them to shift some things. So for me, what's lighting me up is just that ability and that freedom and the permission to choose to set my business up that way. So I have that ability to plug myself in and create and feel satisfied at the end of the day because I'm a generator. And then also to also work with the clients in a way that really, really works for me so that when I show up for them, I am the best version of myself because maybe I had like Monday to create more. And like, so when I show up for them on a different day or when I take their calls, I'm just at another level where I am like ready to serve and ready to show up for them.
Your cup's full.
Yes. Yep.
I love that. Jen, we are getting close to our time. I could sit and just talk to you about this all day long. I am loving this conversation. I do have one more question that I ask
Mhm.
everyone who comes on the show, and I would love to know what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone when they're first starting out in their business to help them be bolder, be louder, and make waves in your business?
I would say no matter what you're doing, no matter what decision you're making, no matter what dream you have, what's on your heart, what you're creating, it's always going to all going to come down to trusting yourself. You know, you can in the online business space, yes, there are mentors, there are coaches, there are programs and they serve an amazing purpose. But when you step into step into business, step into those other programs and everything, it's all comes down to trusting yourself because you're never wrong. Like you're always going to make the right decision for you and you're going to feel it like more so in your body, more so in your gut, and you're going to know and like trust that feeling, trust that intuition.
Oh, I love that so much. That's a beautiful piece of advice. And I would love to just know, where can our listeners find out more about you and find you online and follow you and watch all these reels?
My website is Jen Dice, so JENDYS.co. And that's kind of a good hub to learn a little bit more about me and what I do. And then if you want to follow my crazy creation of reels, I am on Instagram at jen.dice. So, but if you follow me there, say hi. I love to reach out and connect. So
Wonderful. I'll link those up in the show notes as well. Jen, thank you
yes.
so much for being here today. This was so much fun.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. So thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check out the show notes at lauracomark.com/podcast. And if you're ready to grow and scale your business and your current website is outdated and doesn't reflect the magic you bring and the results you get for your clients, go to lauracomark.com to find out how I can help bring your vision to life. That's LauraKamark.com. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye now.